We think of apocalypse as horrific and awful, and yes it is, but it's unveiling. It means to unveil, to take the cover off. And there's the three components are not just the divine outline, but it's the only book of all 66 books in the Bible that promises a blessing to those who read it, hear it, and take it to heart. No other book promises that. And the third feature I completely forgot just now. I completely forgot it. And it was deeply profound. It'll probably come to me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm out of time really, so we're going to move very fast here, I think, and try to get through these. But needless to say that it was coming to me there for a second, but I think I've lost the moment here. So you've got the 7 feasts, and you've got this divine outline placed in the book of Revelation. Oh, I know it was. It just came to me. Wow. It's the book of Revelation has more references to the Old Testament than any other book in the Bible. Some Bible scholars believe that almost 2/3 or even more of the book of Revelation is actually a reference to the Old Testament. And no other New Testament book has that feature or that component. It's been said that if you really love your people, you'll teach them the book of Revelation. If you really love your people, you'll teach them the book of Revelation. I would say to you, Christian, listen, get a good commentary on the book of Revelation and study it. It is the only book, you'll be so blessed. It is the only book that promises a blessing to those who read it, hear it, and take it to heart. So why does the rapture have to happen before the 7-year tribulation? Because of the revelation to us. Because in the book of Revelation, the word church is found 19 times in chapters 1, 2, and 3, dealing with past and present. And nowhere is the word church found in chapters 6 through 19, which have everything to do with the 7-year tribulation. So the rapture has to happen because of the 7-year, because of the revelation to us. Reason number 2, the effect upon us. So the R in our acrostic is revelation to us. The A in our acrostic is the effect upon us. In our study of Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 through 43, we find the common denominator being, be ready. We've seen it even in our study of chapter 25 so far with this first parable. You see, in verse 36, Jesus says again, no one knows about the day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. See, if the rapture doesn't happen before the 7-year tribulation, then I do know the day or hour. I know the day because it's 1,260 days. It's 3.5 years. I mean, there's a specific timeline during the 7-year tribulation. I know it's going to be in the 7th year. If it's at the end, I know it's going to be at the 3.5 years if it's in the middle. So Jesus cannot be talking about a rapture that happens anywhere but before the 7-year tribulation. See, not knowing the day or hour affects how we spend our time because it could be any time. See, knowing the time, mid or post, affects my urgency because I could still have time, you see. So it has an effect on me. It is a positive effect that it has on me. In verses 37 through 39, remember from our study, where Jesus likens it unto the days of Noah. And he says, before the rapture, it will be business as usual right up to the time. It's not going to be business as usual right up to the midpoint of the tribulation, nor is it going to be business as usual right up to the end of the tribulation. But like in our day, it is business as usual. People, there's no urgency. We have fallen asleep as the bride in our parable. And we still think we have time and that my master isn't really coming and I'm not really expecting him to come. And then in verses 40 through 43, if I'm one who is waiting, watching, and expecting his coming, it won't be a surprise. I won't be caught off guard because I know that his coming could be at any moment. If I'm one who is not waiting, not watching, and I'm not ready, his coming will be a surprise. And this is where Jesus has 2 people in the field. One's taken, the other left. 2 women grinding to the mill. One taken, one left. That could be nothing other than the rapture. We need to occupy until he comes, and we need to be ready so that when he comes, it's not a surprise. Jesus in Luke's Gospel, chapter 17, verses 28 through 30, said, it was the same in the days of Lot. People were eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building. But the day Lot left Sodom, fire and sulfur rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. It will be just like this on the day the Son of Man is revealed. Again, I love Dave Hunt, whom I believe is one of the best Bible scholars out there today. He said, quote, "These world conditions at the rapture could only be before the tribulation period. They certainly could not be at its conclusion." The whole point is, and God's whole design is, the effect upon us. I don't think that's any clearer than the way it was demonstrated in the last parable of chapter 24 that we looked at last week, verses 44 through 51, where Jesus contrasts two servants. He says the one says, "My master's going to delay his coming," so he parties on, lives a rowdy life. No hurry, no worry. He contrasts that one with the one who says, "You know what, I believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. My master could come at any time." And he was the one that was found faithful. He was the one that was found watching. And he was the one that was found waiting. Why does the rapture have to take place before the 7-year tribulation? Because of the profound effect it has on you and me and how we live our lives in this temporary and brief life like a vapor. Let's be honest. If you and I really believe that the rapture of the Church of Jesus Christ could happen this afternoon, don't you think it would change the complexion of our plans even a little bit for the upcoming day? How about if Jesus was coming for us this week, or this month, or this year? Don't you think that's going to have a pretty profound effect on how you and I live our lives? I think it's going to alter our schedule a little bit, maybe. That's God's design, and that's what I see as the common denominator with these parables and these teachings. And Jesus is constantly saying, be ready, be watching, be found faithful, because you don't know. Nobody knows the day or the hour. So because you don't know the day or the hour, you need to be ready all the time. That's an interesting dynamic, because it really forces us to always live in that imminent return, with that expectancy of that imminent return. The last one we're going to look at today is the P in our acrostic. The purity of us, the revelation to us, the effect upon us, and the purity of us. And this one is huge, and this is how we're going to partake of communion today. In 1 John chapter 3, verses 2 and 3, the Apostle John says, "Dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Everyone who has this hope in him purifies himself just as he is pure." See, the belief of a pre-tribulation rapture has a purifying effect on us. And then in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 2 and 3, the Apostle Paul said, "I am jealous for you with a godly jealousy. I promised you to one husband, to Christ, so that I might present you as a pure virgin bride to him." Jesus is the bridegroom, and we are the bride. And this is our parable. The parable that we have before us today is about brides who are purified and ready for their groom to come and snatch them away. And you have to understand that in Jewish thought, this analogy, this comparison of a bridegroom and a bride would have been very understood, because their bridal customs in that day are not like our bridal customs today. The Jewish bridal customs were very interesting. As we'll see in a moment, the bridegroom would come at an hour that the bride did not expect. And you know how long they would celebrate their wedding? 7 days. In Hebrew, the word 7, Shavua, is a period of 7. It's not limited to 7 days. It could be 7 weeks, 70 weeks, 7 years. It's a period of 7. And so this is very much congruent with and fits with the rapture of the church being the bridegroom who comes for the bride. So here it is. Let me take you through a little Jewish wedding here. Not a little one, maybe a really big one.